Layla Covington is a made up name. She is a junior investment banking associate with some M&A background. She studied law. She worked for NBC Universal in the legal department as a summer associate. She had a short stint as an associate attorney for a law firm. And she went to these schools, did her MBA, JD, and studied cinema TV. So, how can Layla target um, jobs? For instance, here's a job she's interested in: alternative investment regional specialist, private bank for Bank of America, and they have a job description, what they're looking for, what are the responsibilities of the person who will take on this job, the qualifications, financial services, product sales experience, knowledge of alternative investment products, etc., some skills that they listed. And if Layla would use her regular resume, she might be missing, although she has some great experience. The folks at Bank of America, especially if they're using an automated tool to screen candidates, might skip over her resume. Let's see what she can do to improve her chances. And she can use a tool like CV Refinery, where she can upload her resume. Let's grab her resume. And when she uploads the resume, there's now a process that started in the background. The system will parse her resume. Now, this is if you've ever applied to a job where they tell you upload your resume to help pre-fill this form, and it never really works, and it ends up being a lot more work for you to fix all the mistakes. This tool uses a very sophisticated reasoning and thinking model to properly parse her resume, understand what's in it, and understand what are some of the key highlights about her experience. So, what you will see when the upload is completed, you'll see that it not only understood all of the dates processed correctly, her start dates and end dates for every job in her education, but it also, for each job, it will pull out some keywords that describe her experience and her overall skills and highlights that an employer should be privy to. So let's see what this looks like. And then we now uploaded her resume. Now the screen changes. And from here, if we view, this is a view of her resume as it was processed by the AI engine. So it understands who she is. This is a description using the AI model. The resume describes your experience as a legal and investment banking professional with experience in media entertainment transactions and complex commercial litigation, skills, M&A advisory and financial modeling, IP litigation and media strategy, achievements. You've had an MBA, a JD, and you've advised on some major transactions, contributed to multi-hundreds million dollar settlement, possible job titles, investment banking associate, litigation counsel, media strategy advisor. And everything else is the details that came from her resume. What's really cool is this system pulls in some highlights, things that an employer should be made aware of, and you'll see how that falls in later. And then you have all the jobs, you have the start dates, the end dates, how much time that she has spent in each job, and her legal education, her education and training, and some keywords on skills and expertise. Oh, and she knows French. Okay, so we now have this resume. Let's bring in this job. I'm going to grab the URL for the posting, and we're going to add the job. We could manually enter the job into this tool, but I'm going to use the automated AI import, pull in the link. And while this is working in the background, we could pull in another job. Let's see if there's another interesting job at Bank of America. So search for professionals, associate. I'm just going to bring in, let's see, a client wealth associate. And let's grab this job and add this as well. Now you'll notice that we have two jobs that are being processed. So when you look at the top right status, there are two jobs. And again, this is using AI. It's bringing in all of the details about the job, and it's doing a processing of the job posting. So although every company might have a different format and layout. And sometimes they might spread things that are a job responsibility into the job description. So what the AI will do is it will properly parse out anything that's part of the job responsibility into responsibilities, anything that's skills into the skills, and properly organize it so that every job that you view on this system will be consistent in format. So let's see, we already have one job process. So I'm going to refresh, and that is the alternative investments banking specialist. If I open this, I can see here, this is not verbatim the job posting that we saw. This is now processed. You can see, you might not notice because of the text, but you can see that the skills, for instance, this has been brought in. And if I click on edit details, you'll see, sorry, let's go to edit the details. Okay, we'll view that later. You'll see a lot of the information, how it was organized and parsed. We'll visit that later. So the next thing that we can do is, since we have a job, we have this job, alternative investment regional specialist, and we should have now the second job as well. And we have a resume. Let's analyze her resume against this job. So if I click on analyze resume, it will kick off this process, and we'll do the same thing to the other job. So again, everything here is in parallel, so you could be working on other things and come back to it once the analysis is done. Some of these will take between 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on the complexity of the documents that are being fed in. Now, what this will give us is a accurate analysis of how good is her current resume, the baseline resume we have at the top, to the job description that the company posted. And there may be different gaps for each of these jobs. One job might be closer fit for her than the other. What is important to note is nothing in this analysis will attempt to make changes, factual changes. So if she does not have expertise in an area, it won't try to invent an expertise that she doesn't have. Let's see what that looks like. So since we've analyzed it, we can view the analysis, and we can see here what the resume needs to look like for her to have a better chance to apply. So your resume should reposition your M&A and legal experience, emphasize client-facing product knowledge. That's for this job. Let's look at what it says for the other job, the wealth management. Your resume should reposition technical investment banking and legal accomplishments into client service, account management, and operational support language targeted at wealth management and Merrill FAs. So this analysis is important, and then it highlights what are the things that are a strong match in her current resume, the skills that seem to be a great fit. Her financial analysis expertise, regulatory licensure, client advisory experience, and each one of these has examples from her resume, or essentially proof points. See, she's advised clients on M&A transactions and strategic alternatives, but here are some gaps. These have a measurement of criticality. So highly critical is the fact that her resume lacks explicit experience supporting financial advisors, servicing retail or high net worth clients. That's for this job. For the other job, if we go back to its analysis, her top high critical gap is her resume contains no explicit experience in marketing, selling, or recommending hedge funds, private equity, or real asset solutions. So as you go down, you see more and more of the analysis around the gaps. Now, it also has a set of improvements that it suggests. These improvements range from reorganizing the bullets in each of the jobs to give emphasis to certain areas of expertise based on what this job calls for, or adding more information. And how, if your question is, how does she add information that doesn't exist in her resume? That comes from addressing the gap. So there's some questions here, 4 questions for this job role. This is the alternative investment regional specialist that she has to answer. Can you share your experience in marketing, selling, or recommending hedge funds? And the way that you manage these gaps is you address the gaps. So you can go in here and share the experience marketing, selling, or recommending hedge funds. So I'm going to take a quick look at her resume, and I'm noticing that, for instance, at Lehman Brothers, let's say that at Lehman Brothers she's had this experience, and I want to reflect that. So I will address the gaps. Let's go back into this, address the gaps. Can you share any experience you have supporting financial advisory or working directly with retail? So I'll write at Lehman Brothers, I worked with high net worth individuals on strategic investment opportunities, and this resulted in a 20% customer satisfaction rating increase with a fund. So I'll just add this answer, and now you can answer as many questions as you want. This one, for instance, we did not address any of the gaps. This one we have one, and I can hit Refine CV. So this one has some of the questions answered. This one doesn't. It's going to process, and now we are generating a new resume, one that she can actually use to submit for this particular job. Okay, so now we have two refined resumes. Let's open this refined resume, and you'll notice when she opens this, there are yellow comments. So it'll tell us that for this section, the highlight section, it's added a one-line objective targeted to Merrill financial advisors and reframed highlights to stress client services, advisor support, and on-site willingness. Because this job is in Charlotte, so we're indicating that we're seeking a wealth management client access role, availability in Charlotte, North Carolina. And remember the answer that I put in, and I didn't phrase it so eloquently on purpose. Here, it's added this comment: delivered client-facing analyses and clear materials for advisor and high-net-worth client meetings, translating complex valuation outputs into actionable recommendations. So it'll tell us that it's reworded responsibilities to emphasize client-facing advisory, administrative support, and cross-functional coordinated, highlighted the 20% customer sat. Where's that? It's also here in the back. In the bottom, supported high net worth client relationship and contributed to a 20% customer satisfaction increase in my portfolio. Each one of these has some comments, and she can download an annotated resume, in which case she'll be able to see all of the comments alongside the new text, or she can download a clean resume. So I hope that this gives you a good sense of what you could do. This is a really cool site. It's called Refine My CV. Give it a shot.